Hi everyone, today we're going to work on adding value to our Georgia O'Keeffe inspired cow skulls. For this project we already finished our contour line drawings and we're moving into now adding depth and dimension through value, right? And through shading. So what we're going to use for this project is charcoal pencil. This is a little bit different than the materials we've used in the past. It's definitely a little bit neater than the chalk pastel, but it definitely gets dark quickly. So what I like to do is I like to start up here on the top, starting where I know my arm is not gonna blend and kind of smear my artwork. And so from here, I'm gonna curve, keeping my pencil on its side. You don't want to use it up and down. And I'm going to follow the top part of my horn. And then I can shade this in nice and solid. Again, keeping my charcoal pencil on its side. Okay. Then I'm going to add a medium value. And again, you want to be careful with the charcoal because it does get dark pretty quickly. And I'm just going to lightly add that medium value. I don't want to go crazy. Okay. Then you can take your finger and carefully, from the dark value, we're going to blend and you see how I kind of follow the shape of the horn, following the curve. And then you can go back in if you see like a spot isn't looking just the way you want it, like maybe I want to add a little bit more dark values right on the top there. Okay. Don't worry too much about getting out of the lines. We are going to cut it out for this project, but if it bothers you, you can certainly take one of the nice erasers and clean up the edges. Maybe take an eraser and lighten up one of the sides if you got too much charcoal there. Okay, again, you don't want to smudge though, so you can blow off any extra eraser marks. Okay, then I'm going to do the same thing on the other horn. Again, following the curve right here. Okay, making almost like it looks like a triangle to me right here. And again, you're like on the inside there of the horn. Okay, once you're happy with the dark value, you can move into the medium value. Again, not going crazy. Okay, and when you're happy, you can take your finger and go from the dark value nice and careful. All right, now we can move on to the actual skull. You're not gonna go crazy with the shading. You really don't want to. I like to just go along the top just a little bit on a medium value on both sides. Okay. Then I like to kind of follow down medium. Then I also like to add that curve a little bit darker. And then I go back and forth almost like in a C motion. And then I curve the opposite direction. So see how it kind of is smaller here and it's wider? And then this little triangle here, I'm just gonna add some dark values at the top like a triangle. Follow the curve so you can see the difference between the two. And then lightly, you can kind of come down to this curved line that we drew here. And that was just to mark off where the eye socket is. Okay, you're gonna do the same thing on this side. Again, darker on the curve. And I'm gonna come all the way down to that little curve that we drew before. Okay. Then to the triangle, dark. And then I like to lightly go over my line just down the middle here and those little cracks that we put in. Okay. Now I'm gonna take my finger and just blend, again being very careful. You don't want it to look sloppy. And I just follow the curve of everything. I don't go in any wacky directions, right? I just follow the curve here, curve. And I know I keep saying this, but we will be cutting this out, so don't panic. All right, now onto the eyes. You can just go dark. Just be careful to stay in the lines here. Sometimes maybe a little bit lighter on the bottom here of the eye socket if you'd like, just to give it a little bit more contrast. And see, I'm gonna start getting lighter right here. You don't have to, but sometimes, again, it gives it a little bit more contrast. And again, just you can blow on it if you want the chalk to kind of disappear. It's maybe too chalky. You can blend it up with your finger a bit. I like to now go down just lightly on both sides of the nose there. And along those cracks again that we did. If you want something more fine, you can use a little bit of the tip, but you're not pressing down hard at all. Okay. Again, taking your finger, blending in the same direction as the lines that you're drawing. You can clean up at the end. All right, I'd like to make now right under the eye here, just a triangle shape. On both sides. Okay, then right over here, we're gonna come up on another triangle. I feel like that's always a good way to start. Then I get to a medium value along that curve, medium value along the curve, and I can drag it up. And then finally, we're just gonna color in this bridge part of the nose. Just dark. And if you want to give it some contrast, you can go light in some areas, maybe in the middle here, so I'll go outline my shape. Dark at the top, dark at the bottom, and then medium in the middle. line, then I can take my finger and just blend it up. At the very end, that's when you can take your fingers and maybe add a little bit more lightly, just in some areas, maybe at the bottom, maybe on the side a bit, up to you. Okay, you can also take the tip and start to add some small details, just like curved lines. Not a lot. Again, don't go crazy right at the top of the horn. Also on the other side, making sure not to smear anything with your hand. You really want to keep your arm off the paper. All right, and then the last thing is just erase anything that you don't want on the skull. Again, we're cutting this out, so you don't have to worry too much about the outside. Maybe you went a little bit dark in one area on the face, and you want to just clean it up a bit. Especially near the eyes, you want nice clean marks there. And using like the pointy edge of an eraser is always the easiest. And I'll just lightly bang off my extra. All right, and there you go.